That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is my network.
Let's go.
After the disrespect that was taking place on Saturday night, I decided that I wasn't going to stand here and take it. So, JB, if you're watching, this is for you. You're no longer going to be called JB. I'm going to call you Lil Joey Ellis because that's what you are. You are a little man with a frail ego, and this is it. This is it for you. I declare war upon you, and just know that this is the beginning. I'm taking over your show tonight, but I'm taking over this entire network, and I'm going to be the king of Sideline Sports from now on. You're done. You're dethroned. You're out of here. But what's up, boys? We're going to be talking about the hottest topics in sports tonight on the Sideline Sports Show. We got all kinds of stuff to get into, guys. But how you guys doing tonight, man? What's been going on?
I'm feeling like the NWO right now after that speech you just did. Let's go to war, baby.
I declare war. It's on. It's officially on.
And inversely, I have absolutely no clue where that came from. And I'm just sitting here like, oh, good. There we go.
The audacity of this man right now to just be so much of a clown that he just can't get out of his own way.
They must not.
You're gonna learn the hard way. You're gonna learn the hard way.
Equals the possibility of winning the NFC East.
The Giants have no chance of winning the NFC East, and they have no chance of dethroning us at any point in time in the future.
They got to.
We have a better future than them. We have a better quarterback than them. We have multiple draft picks next year. We had multiple draft picks last year. We completely turned our team around. So it's not even a debate. It's not even worth discussing. But what is worth discussing is the latest topics, the latest stuff in sports, guys. We are going to start with Kevin Durant. The latest rumors was that the Boston Celtics offered a package, which was centered around Jaylen Brown, to which Jaylen Brown was very upset about. Jaylen Brown tweeted that he was basically shaking his head. He wants to remain with Boston after his performance with the NBA Finals. I think that he played very, very well. And Jason Tatum did not play as well as Jaylen Brown. And, you know, Jason Tatum gets all the credit. He gets all the praise from everyone. But Jaylen Brown outperformed him. So Jaylen Brown was very upset that his name's being used in the trade talks. So that is very interesting. But the Nets did decline the offer. I think it was centered around Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, and another player and a couple of first-round picks. The Nets reportedly, and it was Derek White. Thank you, Joseph. And then they wanted Marcus Smart as a part of the deal, and the Celtics were not willing to do that at this point in time. So pretty interesting stuff. I think that KD would be a great fit for the Celtics or any team, but it just seems like the Nets want an impossible trade package to get him.
Yeah, this right here. Oh man, on one end of the spectrum,
Watch your mouth, Jacob. Watch your mouth.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, worry about your Knicks, partner.
Oh, now,
anyway,
now look at him. He's backpedaling. Okay, Jake. All right.
Anyway, on one end of the spectrum, I don't blame the Nets because you're giving away arguably the number 2 player in the league, so you want a lot of compensation for him. You know, essentially what I don't want this to become, but I foresee it, is like the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes before he went to Cleveland. And a lot of people that got offered felt like they got shunned. Look at what happened with Baker Mayfield. Look at what happened with Matt Ryan. You know, they just started offering, you know, their star quarterbacks, quasi-star quarterbacks or whatever. And they felt like they were kind of knifed in the back. And you know what? I foresee more of this coming. But it's because Boston wants to win now. Boston is like right there. They made the NBA Finals. They obviously lost to the better team. I think they want the Warriors next year. Not just any team. I think they want the Warriors next year. And wouldn't it be ironic if, I mean, it's not going to happen, but wouldn't it have been ironic if they would have beat them with Kevin Durant? But that's just my side on it.
Even if the Celtics get Kevin Durant, I wouldn't say they're favorites to win the title. Even
I
if
wouldn't
they
say
go-
the favorites neither. I just said it wouldn't be ironic if they did beat them with Kevin Durant.
because
But-
if they do get Kevin Durant, they're not going to get, like you said, they're not going to get him for nothing. They're going to give up and sacrifice a lot of depth if they do add Kevin Durant.
To be honest with you,
But go ahead, JJ.
funny because we don't have the gauntlet this week because of the takeover. But Boston Celtics, you're my sports morons, and we're going to discuss this right now because I need y'all to stop and really pull it up and say, not get rid of Brown, get rid of Jason Tatum because they play the same position. Why would you get rid of Jaylen Brown, who is a better defender than Jason Tatum, and at the end of the day, still fit the scheme? If you put Kevin Durant with Jason Tatum, are you going to put Jason at the 2? Jason don't look like a 2. Jason is a 3 because he's used to being around the bigger body individuals. I'm not saying don't go after him, but let's keep it real. James, you just mentioned it, said Jaylen Brown had a pretty good postseason and a good finals, but the one person that they consider the star did not show up. So if you take him out, bring Kevin Durant, what are you really losing? You're not really losing anything. If anything, you're gaining somebody who did rise to the occasion on a similar type squad that's filled with weapons and different people that can do different things and help the team overcome and win a title. I think Boston, I get what you're doing. I understand Brooklyn, as Jay said. I got arguably the best player in the game on my team. Why am I going to sit here and not get everything I know I can get for him, especially knowing he's still in his prime and he was actually on by him. They get a lot of credit for the year before, ever scratched this year, 1 inch away from getting to an impossible NBA finals, especially Eastern Conference finals. So I'm getting everything I want for him. You better give me 4 firsts. If you see Rudy Gobert get 4 firsts, I need 6 of these mofos to get this guy, who even if he starts to dwindle, is still going to be an impact player for any team. Boston, stop playing. Give me Jason Tatum, because if I'm giving him up, you better give me something in return.
So if you're the Celtics, would you rather give up Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown to get Kevin Durant?
For Jason Tatum.
You're sure about that?
Absolutely. What do I lose that Kevin Durant can't fulfill?
Jaylen Brown, I think Jaylen Brown clearly outperformed Jason Tatum in the playoffs, but is Jaylen Brown really a better player than Jason Tatum?
I see what he's saying because it's one series versus like everything else. Jaylen Brown is the one.
I
think Jaylen Brown's a stud, but I don't know.
I'm getting Jason Tatum, but I'm bringing Kevin Durant. Where's the problem?
Well,
I don't get the problem. Like,
I don't know. Like,
what can Jason Tatum do or has done in the postseason that Kevin Durant hasn't? And
I don't think the Celtics need Kevin Durant to get where they need to go. I think they're good. I think they have a great team.
No shade. And Steven Nunez and MJ Martin referenced this like a couple of months ago. Jason Tatum is only as good as the defense around him. Kevin Durant is slightly a better defender. If you get rid of Jaylen Brown, you get rid of the main 2 guard who guards some of the best players along with Marcus Smart. Jason Tatum has been locking up Jimmy Butler trying to go against him. So why would you get rid of him when you can get another guy and get rid of him who does the same thing as him? I'm not saying Tatum's not great, but Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant. And I would take Kevin Durant over Jason Tatum on my team any day of the week. Who's going to tell me I'm wrong? Honestly.
I'm not telling you you're wrong about that. I'm talking about Jaylen Brown versus Jason Tatum.
But that's the reasoning why I would have no problem moving on from Jason Tatum.
Because you're saying that Kevin Durant can seamlessly replace Jason Tatum, but you can't replace Jaylen Brown because he plays defense. That's what you're saying.
I can't replace. First of all, it wouldn't fit because Kevin Durant and him play the same position. Somebody's going to be out of whack and it's going to be out of focus. Remember, Jason Tatum typically wants to be the one that's like starting the offense, move forward. Kevin Durant over there, he runs the offense. Jaylen Brown is used to working with somebody else. So bring Kevin Durant, perfect fit. You get the defense and you get the elite scorer, get over the hump, and still has the same mentality to not shrivel up when you're trying to win a finals. Sure, it's one series, but it was the NBA finals. What are we finals for? We're playing to win a finals.
Yeah.
So Kevin Durant elevates the Celtics' chances to win the finals. I don't know. He does, but
absolutely.
I think they already have a great chance with the team that they have.
They do already have
players. They have depth. They have a coach. They have a great system in place already. And, they just weren't good enough to beat the Celtics. To beat the Warriors. So it is what it is.
with acquiring Malcolm Brogdon, they have a tough decision now because you got 3 traditional guards. Whether people like Marcus Smart or not, he isn't a 2 guard. He can't shoot that well. So why would you put him at a position that's going to be kind of conducive for him to shoot that well? Where you can at least play him at point guard where he can dish it out to people, which he's very effective at. You have Derek White, Malcolm Brogdon, and Marcus Smart. You got to figure something out.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's not going to look good in this offense. And it makes it hard.
So, guys, we're going to take a short break. When we get back, Cristiano Ronaldo, the saga continues between him and Manchester United. He returned to Manchester today to discuss his future with the club. Is he going to stay in Manchester? Is he going to be able to find a new club? We will have to wait and see. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Cristiano Ronaldo saga is continuing. Cristiano Ronaldo wants out of Manchester United. He has wanted out of Manchester United since earlier this month when he told the club that he would like to go. The club insists that he is not for sale. They do not want him to go. Erik ten Hag wants him to be a part of the plans, everything like that. But the problem with Cristiano Ronaldo is he is not seeing that the club has the ambition to make the signings to improve the team. He wants to compete. He's always been a great competitor. He's had great moments in the Champions League. He's had great moments in his career. And the other people around him don't seem to have the same energy. They don't seem to have the same fire and desire, especially the board, especially the people that are making decisions. And it kind of reflects on what we've seen from Manchester United for the better part of the last decade. Manchester United is a great club with great history of winning trophies and titles, but the last decade since Sir Alex Ferguson has departed from the club, retired, they have not been the same. So I think that when he returned there last summer, he had hopes that he could restore them to the glory that they once were at. But the way this club has become, it's just become a toxic environment. And it's just too much to overcome that for Ronaldo. So the best option would be for him and the club to find a solution. They need to find a solution that'll benefit both sides. Cristiano Ronaldo needs to go to a place that's squatted up. He's 37 years old, but he still has a lot to offer. 18 goals last season, 3rd leading goal scorer in the Premier League, the best, most competitive league in the world. So Cristiano Ronaldo, the stuff continues. Are they going to find a solution? Is he going to stay with Manchester United? Is he going to go somewhere else? I think the best solution would be for him to go somewhere else because it's too daunting of a task for him at his current age. As great as he is, as great as he has been, you're not going to be able to restore this Manchester United side to its former glory.
With Cristiano Ronaldo, you talk about, the greatest players in the world. What does Cristiano Ronaldo and LeBron James both have in common? At some point in time, they got tired of dragging bad teams. The way I see Manchester United right now is they're somewhere of a cross between the Dallas Cowboys and the 2007, 2006 something Cavaliers. On the Cowboys side is because, and we talked about it before the show, they are one of the most profitable sports teams in the world. They're comparable to the Dallas Cowboys in terms of marketing and such. And they got their star player, but you think back to those years when Tony Romo dragged an average Cowboys team. Now, in the Cavaliers comparison, we all know that LeBron dragged that team to the NBA Finals where they got swept by the Spurs. And at some point in time, it's like, hey, build me a team. I'm around people. I'm an A+++ player, and I'm around the next guy.
What's up, Matt?
The next guy closest to me is probably a C-, and everyone else are D's. You're tired of that. He has all the money. He just wants to win more. So I don't blame him for wanting to leave. And me personally, I think he's going to end up elsewhere.
That man said, listen, y'all, I'm getting old and I'm trying to win. So bump all y'all in this Manchester United. Let me go to a team that I know is on the same focus I am. And I get it. If I've accomplished so much, it's like he came to a situation thinking it was going to be received in a way that it wasn't received. And now you're like, look, bump it. If y'all not trying to win, then why are we even in this league? I'm in this league to win. Yes, I made a lot of money, but I'm trying to win. So let me just go back on over here and see if I can get over here. It's like Brady when he set to retirement. He's like, you know what? I want to win. Let me go back. Let me go back over here and do this. That's just my take.
Yeah, I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo is a guy that he doesn't have anything left to prove. He's already won the Champions League. He's won it 5 times. He's won the Ballon d'Or 5 times, and he's broken almost every record that you can break as a goal scorer. And even at his current age, he can still outperform a lot of good young players that are in their 20s. He's still more productive than them. The difference is that doesn't matter to him. He is very similar to Tom Brady in the way that he doesn't care that he's won everything there is to win. He wants to continue to win more trophies and win more honors and break more records. That's what he wants to do. And Manchester United, they just lack the ambition that he has. So it is a tough situation, but it does seem that the best choice for him would be moving on. So, guys, we got to move on. We got to talk about some Major League Baseball action this week. The Boston Red Sox they got destroyed by the Toronto Blue Jays 28-5. When I checked the score, it was like 19 to something. And I was like, wow, this is pretty interesting. And then I checked the final score and it was 28-5. So this has to be up there with one of the most embarrassing performances of the entire season. Maybe one of the most embarrassing performances of the entire season. Even if any time that you lose a game, if I lose a game 10-0 or 12-1, that's still very embarrassing. But for you to lose 28-5, that I just don't know what to say. If I was a Red Sox fan, I would be left speechless. When it got to 28-3, I thought maybe there was a chance because it was Boston. Boston, New England Patriots. Maybe they come back for 28-3, maybe, but 28-5, it wasn't happening, man. But that was definitely a brutal, embarrassing performance that we saw this week.
That comeback didn't happen because Tom Brady wasn't swinging the bat for the Red Sox. Let's keep that real right now. That's number one. Number two, you said MLB action. I saw target practice. That was an outright shame that the Toronto Blue Jays could beat up on the Boston College Golden Eagles like that. That right there, I don't know what team they called themselves fielding at Fenway. I know and I get it. They got a little mid-season struggles going on. The Yankees are killing it, in that division, even though what was it? The Mets? Well, no, not the Mets. The Yankees are doing it in that division.
The Blue Jays are currently in second place.
They're currently on their heels right now. The Yankees have been favorites to win the pennant, but you don't come out absolute flat. And when I say flat, I mean like in the negative. Like the record was what, 30? In the modern era, the record was 30. And in the previous era, the record was 36 runs. And I think you mentioned that, Jimmy, it was 20. They had 25 by the 5th inning, So I legit cut on that game solely because I wanted to see him get the record. And I don't know if y'all actually watched it, but at one point in time, and I don't know because I had my music on and everything, and I tuned in kind of late. And at one point in time, the Red Sox, I don't even think they had a real pitcher out there. They were just kind of lobbing the ball, and I was like, well, hey, let's see if they'll get the record or what. They just kind of laid it down, but absolutely embarrassing. I was surprised that the manager wasn't on the hot seat immediately after that game just for that performance. But yeah, I mean, the Blue Jays are good. I'm not taking nothing away from them, but it's less how good this game was, less how good the Jays were, and more about how bad Boston is right now. But go ahead, JJ.
It's just so funny. I've been on the wrong side of this type of whooping. The Nationals have lost, but did everybody score? I feel like everybody scored or something.
I think everyone scored. They got 26 hits. I would love to be a fly on the wall in that room, but I don't know how it could go. I could see everybody getting extremely frustrated and just yelling at each other, lashing out and everything. And then I can see them so defeated. Look, let's just go home.
who cares? Like just something like that. Like that's how bad they
might
got
as well
beaten.
stayed home.
That's how bad they have gotten beaten, and it's almost like, wow. Now, what are you going to do? Are you going to bounce back from it? Or are you going to turn this, Fenway, I understand, is like a really good park to hit home runs and really knock it out the way. Typically, a lot of batters do really good over there. But Boston, even use this as motivation. If you win the World Series, you can look back on this moment and say, this was the day we decided to turn it around. Is it going to happen? Probably not. But it's always good to dream.
Oh, it's good to dream.
They could, they could turn around, but it ain't gonna be this season.
I mean, the
Red
Sox are not.
season,
they're not that good of a team, but they're not that bad of a team. They're like a 500 team. So even if you're a 500 team, you're not trash. So this isn't some garbage team out here. Like the Nationals or somebody like that that's losing by 20 something points. You're a 500 team. You're supposed to be a respectable team. Just on franchise alone, the Red Sox are a respectable franchise. You got to have a little bit of pride, and they showed absolutely no pride, which is disgusting. So, guys, we're going to take another. Go ahead, Jay.
Oh, I was going to say, no, I totally get what you're saying. They're a 500 team, but I get it. You are what your record says you are. But mind you, this is a Red Sox team that was just in the American League Championship Series and took my Astros 6 games. I don't recognize that team at Fenway. I don't think Bostonians recognize that team.
They got lucky. I mean, they beat the Yankees. They beat the Rays. They got lucky. They had a lucky little run, but they've come back down to earth a little bit. But still, just on franchise alone, you're the Red Sox. You're not the Pittsburgh Pirates. You're not one of these garbage teams. You gotta have some team. It's hard to explain what I'm trying to say here, but there's certain teams in sports that this stuff just doesn't happen to them just based on their franchise alone. Like they have like that aura around them that even if they're not at their best level, they're still respectable enough to not be on this side of an embarrassment. And the Red Sox showed no surprise. They showed no pride there. So it was actually very surprising. But anyway, guys, when we get back from the break, we're going to talk about some little WWE action. Triple H taking over as the creative head in the WWE.
Time to play the game.
Share our thoughts about that and what it means for the WWE, the future of WWE going forward. So, guys, the former WWE superstar himself, Mr. Triple H, taking over for Vince McMahon as the new creative head in the WWE. What does this mean for the WWE going forward? Well, you have a guy that is very much a big name. So this is a good move, in my opinion, because this is a move that's going to make the fans of the WWE very happy because they're seeing a guy that's very respected and very loved and revered by the fans that's taken over. So you're getting a guy that cares about the WWE. You're getting a guy that's passionate. You're getting a guy that had a great career and cares about the WWE. He wants the WWE to be great and he wants to bring more fans to the WWE. So I think it's going to be a great opportunity for him, and it's a great opportunity for the WWE having a guy like Triple H that does have that love for the WWE. So it's going to be very interesting to see how everything plays out. But Jay, what are your thoughts on this latest news?
Man, this right here, because I know I'm the WrestleManiac of the bunch right here. So, first off, I would like to say, as far as Vince McMahon, there is great appreciation for what he did with the business and taking over the business from his father in 1982 and turn it from a regional promotion to a national promotion and now a global entity that is worth billions of dollars. So with that being said, it was time for Vince McMahon to go. He still had the mindset of the 1980s and the 1990s. And granted, it was cool then. A lot of things that he was suggesting was cool then, but not cool now. You got to kind of change with the times and everything. And with somebody like Triple H, who's a literal student of the game and the man who lives, breathes, eats, and pisses this business, this, him being in the head of creative and in charge of the executive vice president of talent relations is an awesome move. It was something that we saw coming. I don't think we all truly envision a day that the WWE would be without Vince McMahon, because when we all were born, he was the man. With that being said, it was time for him to retire amid some controversial things that we won't talk about here, but we will cover on the Planet this Thursday. But most definitely an awesome move. And this past Monday Night Raw, just last night, it was a great show. I went into the threads on different sites like Bleacher Report and my pro wrestling group that helped run on Facebook, and we all saw a different show. And we're hoping that this is night one of what is now the Triple H era, and no more is he being held back or anything like that. Now he can finally put both feet in and both hands in and keep them in, and not have to feel like you got the old man kind of breathing down your neck. It's him and his wife running the boat now, And me personally, I see brighter days for WWE. Go ahead, JJ.
I don't really got much to say. I ain't gonna lie. I'll fake it till I make it type of situation. I don't really know much about wrestling. I do know Triple H, and I'm pretty sure if I say this, I might be wrong, but didn't he date China?
At one point he did. Yes, he did.
Oh, wow. Look at me. I got something correct there. Awesome. Thank you.
There you go.
This would be something for my brother, but, yes, everything Jay, you said, James, you said, perfect. I'm so with you guys. He's one of the few wrestlers I do know. I'll just say that. And as far as
I'm not even the biggest wrestling fan, but, people like The Undertaker, people like Triple H, John Cena, people like that. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, those are guys that you know.
Doesn't Triple H stand for Hunter something, right?
Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Hunter Hearst Helmsley. That's what I remember that.
There you go.
Yes. I remember people like DDP, Mysterio, Rey Mysterio, people like that. Undertaker, Big Show, all of those people.
Right.
I don't know nobody today.
No one today, yeah, because we talked about it a long time ago, and you watched it back when it was Stone Cold and The Rock and Undertaker. Yeah, you know what I mean? So you still recognize some of those names. Right.
Yeah, everyone knows who Stone Cold Steve is, but
the Hardy Boys was my favorite.
So JJ, I know you just said that, you don't know anything about wrestling, and I really don't know anything about wrestling either. So we're going to actually talk about something that Mr. Ravens aficionado, Joseph Jenkins, does know something about, and that is his quarterback of his favorite team, the Ravens. As I mentioned, Lamar Jackson was put on blast by an anonymous defensive coordinator, and this is what he had to say about the former league MVP. I don't care if he wins the MVP 12 times. He will never be a 1 as a quarterback. And he also went on to say that if the game gets put into Lamar's hands and he has to beat you with his arm instead of his legs, then he will not be able to beat you with his legs. So, Joseph, take it away.
What's new? We hear this every day. Come on. Who cares that you think this? What does it matter? Sound like somebody that was a little upset that they thought Lamar wouldn't be where he is today. And now that he is, because you responded with the I don't care, dude, which means when you respond like that, you might have lost an argument about this particular person, and you're just basically trying to cover your ground and say, it don't matter. He always be this to me. You can be the only irrational person to do that, because at the end of the day, you keep saying MVP. We don't care about MVPs. I really don't care what you're thinking about the guy, because obviously you're not man enough to put your name out there. So if you wanted to smoke with him, you could have got it with him, but you have to remain anonymous. I wonder why. And so at the end of the day, be real about it, because my boy is ready. He don't give a crack who you are. He'll take you toe to toe. So be a man. Since you want to put your name out there, put it out there. Show yourself so that way when we circle the calendar and he whoops your AASS, ain't a problem. So like you can move on. When he wins, he's only 25 now.
Mm-hmm.
If you could predict the future, can you tell me when I'm getting this $1 million? Oh, you can't. So nothing you're saying right now matters.
Here's the thing. Like, go ahead, Joseph. Sorry.
My last thing is, if you put the ball in his hands and you need to win a game, how do you win some games against Indianapolis, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, and other people before? You have to throw the ball.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's amazing you think the dude just runs every single place all over the place. I don't care.
This comment right here, it just reeks of this is just straight up hate towards Lamar. Like, there was no facts that was put into this argument. He literally you can tell by that he's a straight up hater just by what he said. If he wins MVP 12 times, which by the way, who has the most MVPs of all time? Peyton Manning, 5. And Rodgers has 4. So that would be almost twice. That would be more than twice the most MVPs of all time. And you're saying that if he did that, then you wouldn't think he was one of the best quarterbacks of all time. First of all, that's ridiculous. Second of all, you're just saying stuff. You're just saying stuff just to hate on him. Like, and I don't really, I don't understand what's the hate. What's Lamar done to people that has made them hate him so very much? Lamar is, he's a very humble guy. He's not a guy that's, very arrogant. He's not always, talking trash and saying, yeah, I'm the best, I'm this. He doesn't do that. He does his thing and he backs up his play on the field, and that's what he does. He's not a flamboyant, big trash talking guy. He's very humble and he stays in his own lane. He does his thing and he performs and he does what the teams ask him to do. So he's also a guy that says he doesn't deserve to have a big contract. You see all these players holding out saying, I'm not going to show up to training camp because I don't want that. I want to have my money. Lamar's not doing that. Lamar's like, listen, bro, like, I don't want to be paid until I win a Super Bowl. How can you not? Like, honestly, I don't understand how you cannot love this guy. But you're going to sit back and say that he can't be one of the best quarterbacks. He already is one of the best quarterbacks. He's already a top 10 quarterback in the league. He's already won a league MVP. When he won the league MVP, he was a passing touchdown leader, 36 passing touchdowns in 2019. So let the NFL. So you're saying that the guy can't throw, he can't do anything? Like, I just don't know where we're going with this. My best guess is this defensive coordinator either got fired because Lamar cooked him, or he either got chewed out or cussed out by the head coach because Lamar cooked him. That has to be the only reason. I don't see any other reason you can be saying such outlandish, ridiculous things about Lamar. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he also said that if the game came down to throwing the ball, that he's going to lose the game every time. And me and JJ have discussed this years past. And the fact that he's getting better every single year. Now, I remember his rookie year, and all of us was in the old Exclusive Sports, All Sports 24/7 group.
Going on, Jock
way back in the boonies. But I remember specifically when they were saying, Lamar can't throw. And I remember specifically telling you, JJ, I said, Lamar can throw when he sets his feet. It's throwing on a run that's his issue. And in the next year, he improved. And he greatly improved. What people don't want to talk about is his rookie season when he went in there in the playoffs and almost had a come-from-behind victory against the Chargers in the playoffs. Then the next year, he wins MVP, throwing for 36 touchdowns, like you said. Being only the second quarterback to rush for 1,000 yards in the season, and then he lost to Tennessee. Then he got his revenge on Tennessee the next season. So I don't know what it is people think, but newsflash: the more you talk crap about him, the more he shows up. It may be a little bit, it may be a lot of bit, but the more you down him, the more he shows up. The more he surprises you. The more you're like, damn. I shouldn't have said that.
I just want to show how I just want this. Sometimes when we think things that we want to say, we should say it out loud. And if it sounds stupid, we probably should keep it to ourselves. So if this guy, I don't care if this guy wins the most MVPs as a quarterback in NFL history, doubles the second person who also is the same position that I consider to be one of the greatest. I will never consider him a great quarterback or number one. Does that sound even close to making any sense? Like, it sounds
No,
like...
it makes zero sense.
It just sounds like I'm going to stick to my opinion because I know better. Sir, that's whoever. We pay you no mind. We know you just talking just to talk. Like, maybe your quarterback doesn't have an MVP yet. I don't know.
So here's another problem. Here's another problem that I have with what he said. It's not even the fact that he said something so stupid. It's also the fact that it was anonymous. I am getting sick and tired of these anonymous people, these anonymous sources in sports. Oh, an anonymous coach said this about Lamar. Anonymous source in the locker room, whatever. You see it all the time in the world of sports. If you're going to say something stupid, then say something stupid and put your name on it. Stop being a coward and running from the backlash that you're going to get. Because this is cowardly. You're saying this stuff and you're not putting a name on it. Put your name on it. You're a coward.
I'll go as far as saying the reason why he made it anonymous is because deep down in his soul of souls, he knew what he was saying was stupid.
You can't take the heat.
Yeah, he knew what he was saying was stupid, you know. But at the end of the day, some folks just love to hear themselves talk. He felt like he had an opinion as not even egregious. That'd be a compliment. As downright, I can't curse on the network as it was. No wonder he made it anonymous.
You know, it's interesting. Like, it sounds like if this person had said their name, they would have got a call from their coach. Like, why did you do that? Like, why would you sit there?
Bulletin board material.
Like, you don't think, and it's what you said, like, there's not, every time you say this man cannot do something, every time you tell him he can't do anything, every time you put something in front of him, he's lived his whole life just bashing everything down. He will figure it out. There's a reason why you went to the level to show how much hate you have for him, is because deep down, he has just as much gall in him to overcome that and make you eat your words. Put your name out there, bro. We here.
Let me bounce a theory off you two real quick. Is it possible that he made himself anonymous because he's going to face Lamar this year, and if Lamar shreds him, he knows people will come for him?
I think
that's not the. I don't think that's the reason. I think the reason is he's just scared to put his name on it.
That mixes in with it too. You know, he's scared because he knows Lamar can shred him.
It all factors in.
Personally, I think he already got shredded by Lamar, and he's salty. Like I said before, when I gave my take on it, I said I think the reason he said this was either his team got torched by Lamar, so he either got ripped out by the head coach, or he got fired. It's one of the two things. So now he's talking about Lamar, and he doesn't want to put his name on it because he's a coward. That's why people do anonymous stuff, because they're too scared to take the criticism for what they say. They don't want to be put on Freezing Cold Takes Twitter page. They want to be saying whatever they want with a license to have these egregiously bad takes with no consequences. That's why people do anonymous.
And not only if you're going to sit there and put your name on it, something like that, not only is Lamar circling that game against you if you are somebody who played this year, the whole team is. The whole team is circling that game. So not only are
the whole team is riding with Lamar,
the best of this dude, you're about to get your own team into some mess, and they're gonna be probably getting a different team than they thought they were gonna get. Like, Lou, real talk, nobody cares. Nobody cares. You just want to make it serious. Nobody cares about you, bro. No shade. No, all shade.
All shade. All right, so yeah, this guy's pretty much a clown, guys. If we were on Sports Moron of the Week, he would definitely be getting. In fact, he should get nominated for Sports Moron of the Week. I'm going to put his name in the hat for Sports Moron of the Week, so I'm just going to leave that there, though. So, guys, in honor of the Sideline Sports, us taking over Sideline Sports, let's talk about a times in sports where we've seen an athlete taking over a game. It could be any game. It could be any performance that you guys have seen in any sport. So, JJ, do you have a particular one that stands out to you?
I think he froze.
Completely froze up. All right, well, JJ, I was asking, do you have a moment that you can think of, like when you've seen an athlete take over sport? What was your favorite moment when you've seen an athlete just completely take over?
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I was a little bit my connection got a little taken off. I would say it was not necessarily a moment. It was the whole series. LeBron James in 2016 against Golden State,
It's a good
where
one.
he literally was just like, you could tell he wanted to bring something back to his home. He considers Cleveland outside Akron his
Yeah, he's from
hometown.
Akron, Ohio, but Cleveland, that's
Right, he
definitely the
considers
home team for
Cleveland
him.
as like his home away from home. You can tell he wanted it. You letting everything. He was doing absolutely everything.
That's it. Okay.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
James.
Are you supposed to name multiple ones? I thought it was just one. My
No, I
bad.
mean,
Oh,
it's up to you, bro.
You know,
We got time.
Oh, okay. I found one. I'm actually gonna go against the grain here, and so it's been talked about. I grew up a devout, stout Oilers fan, but we allowed the biggest comeback in playoff history. So as far as taking over a game, I'm going to give it to Frank Wright of that game, because with the Houston Oilers up 35-3, and then with the second half happening and Jim Kelly being injured, Wright came in the game and finished. He was 21 of 34 for 289 yards and 4 touchdowns with only 1 pick. You talk about a back. I mean, all Nick Foles and Jeff Hostetler aside, you talk about a backup quarterback coming in there, and not to mention, you know, that comeback directly led to them being in the Super Bowl. You know, if not for that, like they're out of there. So he was very integral, even if for one game, in helping them win the AFC that season. Closing them out in the playoffs. But you talk about taking over a game, absolutely, because it was a tale of two quarterbacks essentially. Even though I put more and most of the blame on the Oilers defense, and we actually fired our defensive coordinator later on after the game. But it was also a tale of two quarterbacks in which, and I mean, let's face it, guys, whether it's back then or now, 35 points should be enough for anyone to win the game. If you put up 35 points and you lose, it's still a problem, But Warren Moon put up enough points to win. And then the second half, it was all Frank Wright. But I'm going to give it to Frank Wright on this one. He gets the takeover trophy. Even if it was against my team, I'll still shed a tear. Go ahead, James.
Takeover. We're talking about Cristiano Ronaldo and his future with Manchester United earlier, but he's had a lot of great moments. I think, for me, the greatest performance for him was against Juventus, and he ended up going to Juventus for a few seasons after he left Real Madrid. But his bicycle kick goal against Juventus, that was one of the greatest goals that I've ever seen in the Champions League. He's falling backwards, and he just gets his foot on it the right way, and he banks that one in. And he had so many great moments in the Champions League. I also think back to his performance against Bayern Munich in the Champions League final when he scored a hat trick. So that's just what he did. He scored 450 goals for Real Madrid. He's the Real Madrid all-time leading goal scorer. The guy they call him Mr. Champions League for a reason. And the reason is, in the Champions League, nobody outperforms him. He's the all-time leading goal scorer for the Champions League. He's the all-time leading goal scorer for Real Madrid. And the records he doesn't follow the records. The records follow him. He's always breaking another record. So that definitely sticks out to me as well. But another performance that sticks out to me is Adrian Peterson. When Adrian Peterson set the record for the most rushing yards in a single game. I believe it was 293. Adrian Peterson also had a lot of great moments with the Minnesota Vikings, especially his MVP season. Christian Ponder is a quarterback. They were a wild card team. They lost in the wild card game. But considering everything Adrian Peterson did, he only came just short of Eric Dickerson's single season record. Adrian Peterson definitely had some great performances and took over for the Minnesota Vikings a lot during his career. Unfortunately, he was not able to win a Super Bowl, but still a phenomenal player to watch. So Jay, you wanted to talk about
I got one more. I got one more.
Okay, go ahead.
More. And this is very special to me because I watched it with my mother when I was about 16, 17. I'm going to take it to the women's. I'm going to take it to NCAA tournament elite road to a chance to go to the Sweet 16. Maryland at home for Marissa Coleman and Christy Tolliver's last game against Jennifer Risper and the Vanderbilt Commodores. And they were down by about 18 points coming into the second half. And Marissa Coleman finished with 41 points and
41.
came back. And Maryland,
Wow.
came back and won for her last game at home. And she got such a standing ovation at the end of the game. And I remember she went pretty much insane. She took the ball. She wasn't taking no answers. She was getting every rebound. She was taking the basket every single time. She was inching us back. Christy Tolliver was on the team as well, hit a clutch 3 to help us kind of secure the win. But Christy Tolliver's performance, my mom and I both said it. We were like, wow. Like we thought we were very prideful about Maryland in terms of women's basketball. And it was 2 or 3 years removed from winning the national title. And we wanted a chance to go against Courtney Paris, Oklahoma. When she came back, because Jennifer Risper and them were killing us with the steals, I was like, okay, that was one of the best comeback victories I've ever seen in Maryland women's history, and one of the best performances from one of the women's games that I've seen in a very, very long time. Brittany Griner in the NCAA National Championship is another one, but that one was amazing for me.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. So, Jay, what was the latest news with the Big 12 and the Pac-12 merging talks?
So there had been talk as of late because of the acquisition of the what was it, UCLA and USC. They were going over to the Big Ten, and there was talks of 6 of the remaining 10 teams going over to the Big 12, and the talks fizzled. But the main thing that I really want, because keep in mind, if that would have occurred, you would have had only 4 teams left in the Pac-12, which is not a conference. You would have had to disperse them. But I just want to let everybody know that this is the future of college football. There's going to be 2 or maybe 4 mega conferences, and me personally, I think it's 4. Because you're in the college football playoff era, and the top 4 get into the college football playoff, and it's going to be every conference champion. So that's what I think they're gearing towards. I think that they're gearing towards 4 mega conferences, and some people are going to feel like it's bad. Of course, the folks at college football, they're going to see dollar signs. You all know how that goes, But yeah, that's my take on it. Well, what do y'all think?
That's exactly it. Sorry, I was totally agreeing with
No. Go ahead. It's your turn, JJ.
That's exactly it. 4 playoff spots, you're going to get 4 major conferences. And it's like, we're going to call it the Big Pot. Big Pot all together, Big 12, Pac-12, all this. Or the Pac-24. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, it's all because it's centered around the playoffs and how you have 4 squads that are going to be most likely coming from. You want to have all these teams that right now see that the SEC kind of gets most of the headway, and then the Big 10 kind of gets it right after them. The Big 12 used to be the Pac 12 used to be the prominent ones. Yeah. They used to be the ones that ran it, with Oklahoma and Texas doing well. USC back in the day. Then you had Cal with Aaron Rodgers days.
They had Deshaun Jackson. They had Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah. Oregon did Chip Kelly and everything like that. They're not the same anymore. And at the end of the day, which is going to be interesting, is that it's like, I hate it, but it's just where it's going. It's just we're going to be talking about how's that going to work. Like, you're not going to play any non-conference opponents if you just get 4 huge conferences. Like, how do you decide it? Like, I don't get it.
Now, here's a question for you. Do you think that they're also doing this because eventually they want to expand the playoffs?
Well, I mean, the reason that I think they're doing this is because people are tired of all these leagues that are soft. You know, you have the ACC that's garbage, that Clemson usually runs the ACC. Last year, Clemson had a down year, but pretty much every other year, Clemson is dominating the ACC and they have no competition. The Pac-12 was not that good. The Big 12 was not that good. That's why Texas and Oklahoma are going to the SEC so they can actually compete against the great teams like Alabama and LSU and Georgia and teams that have won national championships. So, yeah, that's why they're doing it, because the competition is garbage in those leagues, and they're trying to create better competition, so there's no excuses. So nobody can say, oh, you made the playoffs because you're in a garbage league. You can't say that if you're making all these super leagues.
I don't know. I challenge that to a degree because if you look at the course of history for most of these squads, there have been down years of like 10 to 15 years before teams that once were good get back to prominence. It wasn't long ago when you had Florida State and Miami being good. We're just in the course of history right now where some of these down teams are down, but they're going to get back up. Because I don't think the Big 12, if you had Oklahoma and Texas back into it, with Baylor looking pretty good, you know, Texas A&M, they would stay in them. I wish they were there. Oklahoma State, they're not bad teams. They're just not getting the playoff respect, unfortunately, because from what I understand, there is a lot of SEC bias in the college football committee, whereas I actually think head-to-head, some of these teams actually can come out on top. They have played, but I don't think it's a lack of talent because these teams were once good. They're just in their down years. It wasn't too long ago before Nick Saban got here. Alabama wasn't really revered as anything.
Yeah, so but he turned them into what they are.
But it took them like 10 to 15 years to get back. That's the whole point. It's been a 10 to 15-year gap for some of these teams who are coming up on it, and now they're trying to get out and go to something else. But it takes time. You have those years. What Nick Saban is doing and what they're doing and some of this stuff is actually crazy. It's not exactly
Nick
normal.
Saban is the GOAT.
It's not exactly normal.
He's the GOAT. That's why Alabama is doing what they're doing. But we're pretty much out of time for tonight, guys. So I just want to go around the horn. I want to thank everybody that was able to watch the show tonight. It was really fun getting on Sideline Sports, taking over. Sideline Sports taking over Sideline Sports Network. So, as I said, little Joey Ellis, you're done. You're out of here. And don't come back because
we're changing the locks.
This is my show now. This is my network now. So you can pack your bags and have a good vacation. Permanent vacation, by the way. But any of you guys have anything to say about any of the other great shows that we have going on Sideline Sports for this week?
Well, you know, Cupfidential, which is a little bit later on tonight. Jordan Long's going to be hosting. We're going to be talking about the Cubs are currently on a 5-game win streak, so we'll be talking about that. We'll take a trip back in time and visit the 1989 Cubs that won the NL East. And then we also are going to have a little discussion about the future of Ian Happ and Wilson Contreras because the trade deadline is coming up. That's going to be at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So tune in if you're still up, and then right after that, you can go to sleep. Also, Basketballs on Sunday, the greatest and latest throwback basketball. We cover our Legends of the Week. We cover what ifs. We go back in the time machine and just kind of rearrange scenarios and have a nice discussion. Myself, Dom, Jacob, Will, shout out to them. And then there's this little old show called The Gauntlet that, be floating around and everything. And
yes, sir.
It's all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay.
It's pretty decent.
Well, The Gauntlet has this amazing individual who resides in D.C., so it's an amazing show. So I think you definitely should tune into this.
He's trying to gas it up.
He's got 3 great comrades with him. That one lives in Texas, the other one lives in Pennsylvania, and the other one lives up in Michigan. But then tonight has been real fun. This was cool to come up on here. I have enjoyed this. I am happy to be on these shows. definitely like to make an appearance on Sports Arena every now and then. Hopefully one's coming up in the future. But really appreciate being a part of it. This is the third horse, the fourth horseman, JJ.
All right, guys. We will see you guys very soon. Take care.
All right.
For all of us here at Sideline Sports.